Greetings, viewers. I am TheWildKratos, or at least that's what they call me, and today I'm going to be bringing you a crazy, crazy DLC theory. Well, it's my idea, what I think is going to be coming in DLC 2, and I'm going to start off by saying I believe DLC 2 is going to be taking place somewhere near Stalingrad, maybe in it, maybe near it. We don't know yet, but I think it's going to be taking place somewhere near it. Excuse me. And I'm going to be bringing evidence that could back up why and how and what is going to happen in this Stalingrad map. Now, I'm going to start off by telling you what I think is going to happen. That will kind of bring up the subtopics on screen. Now, what I think is going to happen in this DLC 2 map is I think Maxis is going to find a group during the Battle of Stalingrad, and he's going to use this group to secure Nikolai 1.0 and get Nikolai 1.0 to the Origins crew somehow. And throughout this process or mission, you have to meet ancient beasts that are mentioned in a cipher that I'll get to in a second. And these ancient beasts, you must gather knowledge or artifacts from them, either or. You gather one or the other and complete tasks to get to Nikolai and send Nikolai to the summoning key. Nikolai 1.0. And now, why I say this, first off, I'm going to start off with a couple quotes. First off, with Nikolai, he says he has this unquenchable thirst. If you kill a couple zombies with explosions, he says he hasn't seen explosion as big as the one he saw in Stalingrad. If you listen to Richthofen occasionally, he will say that he can't contact Maxis because Maxis can't contact him here. He just can't. And I wonder if these quotes actually have some meaning. I mean, they normally do, don't get me wrong, but I wonder if they actually are trying to point us in the direction of a Stalingrad location or map area, if you will. Now, the reason why I picked out these quotes is because when Richthofen says that, it obviously means that he needs Maxis to communicate for some reason. They obviously have a plan on their hand, and this plan is to secure the souls of the older people, or the older crew. And what Maxis must do, because he cannot communicate with Richthofen, he is probably most likely tasked to have another crew get Nikolai 1.0. Now, it would also go with the tradition of having new characters in DLC 2, as we saw in Call of the Dead and Mob of the Dead. But again, it could not be true. It could be true. This could be this is all just a theory, and I'm gonna go on about when Nikolai brings up the unquenchable thirst. Sorry about that. When Nikolai brings up the unquenchable thirst, that also can symbolize something. That can symbolize that Nikolai is getting closer to Nikolai 1.0. If you remember in The Giant, when Dempsey talks a lot about past experiences and some experiences that we haven't even experienced yet. And this can then relate to Nikolai in a way, how Nikolai is talking about this thirst, and how Nikolai is having all these memories of Stalingrad and whatnot that he hasn't mentioned before. And it could also that could also be our hint that, hey, Nikolai's DLC's coming up, but it's not going to be our original crew, because it's what I think is going on is I think that DLC 2 and DLC 1 are happening at the same time, and they will eventually collide into DLC 3 with the Easter eggs. Now I'm going to get into the ancient beasts that I mentioned earlier from a cipher that was recently discovered by Mr. Waffle Waffles. Check out his channel, check out his video that explains the cipher. Now, looking up all these monsters and creatures, there was a lot of succubuses, a lot of weird things. I found one of them was definitely one of the most interesting. Was this man right here? This man is an immortal human skeleton, I guess you can say. He, in order to kill this man, there's a lot of steps to kill him, and it's when just reading the steps, obviously sounds like an Easter egg. To me, it sounds like an Easter egg because it involves a lot of shooting and killing and finding. It just sounds like your typical Treyarch Easter egg. Now, me personally, I don't think this guy would be mentioned in this because of the castle setting. Now, you're probably like, whoa, hold up. Where are you getting these ancient beasts from, and why would they be relevant to the Russian Stalingrad map or whatnot? Well, it's because in the quote it also mentions the Eastern, or not the quote, the cipher. In the cipher, it also mentions the Eastern Front, and the Eastern Front was regardless Russia, and Stalingrad was at one point the Eastern Front because they were pushed back that far by the Germans. And the ancient beasts that are being resurrected or awakened, this could be in our Stalingrad map, and it could be like a way of acquiring weapons or, again, knowledge or artifacts like I mentioned before. Now, the next thing I want to show you is a Leshy. Now, this thing definitely seems like it would be in a Russian-style map because if you've played Dead Ops Arcade and you remember the cow level, you can even play this if you wish right now. There's a cow level after round 4 or so, and cows will start running randomly in between the area and whatnot. The reason why I bring this up is because this Leshy, if you befriend it and create packs with the Leshy, it actually grants you magical powers, and it grants your cows special powers and whatnot. It's kind of weird and creepy, and it likes to cause a lot of mischief and whatnot to people like woodcutters and people who like to cause harm to the environment. And now, the reason why I think it would be relevant to the zombie storyline somehow is because of these cows. And again, if you've played Dead Ops Arcade and you've seen the cows, you would know that there's the occasional glowing cow. And if you kill the glowing cow, it will shoot a bunch of gems everywhere. And then you'll be able to collect the gems and put it towards your score. Excuse me. I wonder if those glowing cows are the special cows from the Leshy. Because if you look at that map really closely, or the Dead Ops Arcade style arena, whatever you would like to call it, it definitely looks like an old style Russian map. And it does rotate between winter and summer, I believe. It does rotate between the different seasons and whatnot. Like, I believe there's occasionally no snow on the ground, but then there is snow, which could then represent a difference in the map, or something like that. Again, what I'm trying to get at is that Dead Ops Arcade could perhaps hold secrets. I'm going to show you in a second another thing that could be in Dead Ops Arcade that also links to this next creature that I've looked up. Now, this next creature is a witch. It's your typical witch. It flies around on a broomstick or a mortar, whatever it's said on the website, and it flies around. It eats children, and it lives in a house that stands on 2 chicken legs. Now, when I heard that, I instantly thought of Dead Ops Arcade again, because Dead Ops Arcade features a lot of the chickens, and we haven't really seen the chickens since. Well, we haven't really seen the chickens at all since Dead Ops Arcade 1. Now, I wonder if the chickens have something to do with the witch. Maybe it's like an artifact in which you have to get the chicken foot, and the chicken foot's like a voodoo artifact, or some kind of lucky charm that you need in order to do a ritual or something. I have no idea, just speculating. But another thing I thought was interesting was that it also said that people seek this witch for wisdom and knowledge, and she very rarely helps out lost souls that are obviously lost. And when I read that, I thought, well, hold on a second. What if our Origins crew are lost? Or what if the crew that are in DLC 2 are lost? We'll take one of the two. What if they're lost? What if one of these crews gets the knowledge from this witch and she helps these lost souls somehow? And this is the very rare occurrence, and it happens this one time for you guys in order to save the universe, because she knows what's going on. Maybe she understands the ways of the universe or something like that. It could go any way. But I thought these monsters were actually kind of interesting, and they could play a key role in our future zombies map, or for DLC 2. And again, I only think it would be DLC 2 to hold this Stalingrad style map or location, because DLC 3 I feel should be the tropical kind of map, because when DLC 3 drops, it's gonna be spring going into summer, and people are they're not gonna want a snow map in the summer. I would prefer the island map for Tokyo and continuing Tokyo's story in DLC 3, because again, we also have Tokyo's Emperor message that Richthofen's holding on to, and Richthofen also says that he will be getting that soon. Now, what if that soon means DLC 3, but in the storyline that actually happens next, when, as I mentioned before, DLC 2 will take place at the same time as Jirai and Draka. Now, again, that's all just speculation, all just theory. That's what I think, and just piecing it together, it seems pretty reasonable, and it seems kind of right, and I think it would work, honestly. And all the creatures in Ancient Beasts, they could do something with a new weapon, or it could just be for the new story, or it could be just to get Nikolai. I have no idea. Comment what you guys think down below. I'm TheWildKratos. Thank you for listening to me talk for about 12 minutes and 30 seconds. I will see you guys in a future video. Peace.